Once again, we're hanging out with Brett Pearson from Pearson Custom Amplifiers. Thanks so much, Brett, for having us. What came first? Was it tube technology that came first or solid state technology?
Tube technology actually was developed back in the early part of the 1900s.
Okay.
So originally it was established for radios transmission.
Okay.
The earliest radio sets were battery.
Okay.
They were tube powered, but they were battery.
Okay.
And that was because the tubes run off of direct current, not alternating current.
Whereas today we have alternating current.
Yeah. All the electricity coming out of the wall is AC, and tubes run off of DC. So what they did was, it was actually a Canadian that developed the first electric radio that you could plug into the wall, Samuel Rogers. And so, his first radio station was CFRB, and CFRB stands for Canada's first radio batteryless.
Incredible history
Yeah,
there.
and he actually debuted the first radio that didn't use batteries at the CNE.
That's fabulous.
So the tubes go back a long way.
A long way.
Yeah.
Okay, now in regards to solid state and tube, could you shed a little light on the differences between that for us?
Between the tube and...
Yeah, just between the two types of technology.
Well, solid state came about in the late 50s and 60s. And what happened was, tubes are large. They require a lot of power to run them, and they're heavy because of the transformers and that sort of thing. And so they can be a bit cumbersome. And at the time, when people were making music in the 60s, they were just happy to have something that would amplify sound. It really wasn't a big deal about where it came from. They just wanted to make it louder and sound good. So when the solid state came out, everything got smaller. They could make a bigger amp smaller, less weight, and it just became more economical. And basically the difference is that with tubes, you get a more organic sound. It's kind of like when we're talking about wine. You can talk to 10 different people about tubes, and you get 10 different answers, and they'll talk about crisp highs and fat bottom ends, and you'll get into arguments about tube and the sound and everything, especially when you get
I've argued with people about that a few times.
Yeah,
but,
and it's more so with the audiophiles, with the tube powered home stereo speed, that kind of thing.
Yes.
But the solid state traditionally tended to be slightly thinner sounding and a little more sterile, whereas with tube you get what they refer to as a warmth, and it's basically just a sort of a thicker kind of a tone that sort of exhibits more depth. Now I'm starting to sound like a wine taster, but that's essentially, from my experience, how it works. Now, modern tube amps, modern solid state that they're making now, are doing a much better job of emulating the old tube sound. So to say that, like, back in the 70s and 80s, solid state was huge, and then certain artists like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eric Clapton were still playing the old tube stuff and getting really nice sound, and then that started to draw people back to the tube sound. And solid state did get a bit of a bad rap after a while, because suddenly everybody had to have tube, and solid state nobody wanted, But you can get great sound out of solid state. It's just different.
Thanks for watching. If you're into guitars, amps, and gear, head to tonemasters.tv. We've got lots of videos and stuff to check out. Let us know how you get your favorite tones. We'll see you next time on Tone Masters.